In a so-called free state, officials and stakeholders concoct solutions to problems often created by other bureaucrats and with little regard for infringements on the people. These stories are born at the apex of freedom and entrepreneurship. We foolishly advocate for the taxpayer. Brian's Beat presents Freedom Fools.
Hour 3 of Freedom Fools on WBSM. I'm Brian. As we get closer and closer to Christmas, as we wind down Hanukkah, and I guess a few people are getting ready to celebrate Kwanzaa. Just to briefly go over, I didn't hear anything from ABC about this whole thing dealing with refurbishing the Gaza Strip. The quote of the day: if you want to run as fast as the men, you've got to train like the men. Florence Griffith Joyner with that quote. The United States, I'm not quite sure which one, probably all of them, because of the fact that the president laid down basically a sanction on all oil tankers coming out of Venezuela. And so now we've got another one, captured it in international waters. Who knows what's going to happen with it? Here's one that I did not hear mentioned, but the Israelis are talking about it from Haaretz. Netanyahu plans to request, by the way, he's meeting with President Trump, I believe, in a week and a half, thereabouts. Netanyahu meets with President Trump and is expected to request that our president approve our military striking against Iran. I did not make that up. Maybe Haaretz did, but I did not. Netanyahu, when he meets with the president toward the end of this month, is expected to ask and convince President Trump to approve military strikes against Iran. I guess precision strikes, but strikes less than ever. Turkey, the United States, Qatar, Egypt, they met in Miami to discuss Gaza ceasefire's second stage, which is, I guess, how do we pick up the pieces here, move the rubble over here so we can start building? The plan that was put together by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the 32-page PowerPoint, that says that the United States could start moving forward with this whole reconstruction within the next couple of months. There's other stuff going on. We can get into that this hour. 508-996-0500. Hello.
Hello, Brian.
Hi.
So my thought on, why they're not talking really to the Palestinians about this is, who are they going to talk to? The only people, there's no, civilian, panel that is talking about governing after this is all over or whatever. They're not going to legitimize Hamas and let them in on the talk. So who are they going to talk to? Like the Palestinian in the rubble in the street? Hey, what do you want us to do with this when this is over? I mean, I think once they get Hamas out of there, they might be able to get some kind of panel together that talks about, what happens to the Palestinian people. But right now, I don't know who they talk to, really.
That's a valid point. I don't know about getting Hamas out of there. I think stripping Hamas of leadership is one thing. I'm not sure that Hamas has been asked to exit the Gaza.
Right. And I don't think, like I said, they're not going to legitimize them by getting them to talk about what happens because they don't want them around.
But they already are legitimizing them by having them police the area right now.
Yeah. But I think like the plans going forward, that they want is for Hamas to be gone. So you're talking about what's happening now in this ceasefire.
I need you to turn left or right. Kind of losing you.
What happens? Sorry, I'm in the area. You there?
I'm here.
Okay. That's pretty much just my point. That was it anyway. I'm just in a bad area, I think. I don't think they want to going any further than the ceasefire. I think they want to talk about getting them to disarm, and then they're going to try to get rid of them. And after that, getting to talk to the Palestinian people, I think would be a better idea without Hamas around. But I don't know how that's going to happen. But.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to happen either, because I'm not sure the Palestinian people want Hamas gone. We might want Israel might, but what about the people that live there?
I know, but you know what? I don't think they've had much say in what Hamas does either.
I think Hamas
has been. Yeah, well, what kind of a voting is it?
That's a great question.
At them,
but you know what?
The guns. The Hamas soldiers are saying, "Go in there and vote, whether we say or we don't, or you do what we want, you don't with guns." I mean, they're gonna vote for what they say.
I hear that kind of talk often, and I'm not one to say it's incorrect, but as Hamas says, and I have to take them at face value on this, they're the ones that have to take care of all the bills. They're the ones that have to clean up, make sure the water is working. I mean, they have been the government, and the Palestinian folks that voted them in did so by a pretty strong margin. They may hate them, but I guess that they're the best people to hate as far as the Palestinians are concerned.
The big question to me is why no one in that Muslim area wants anything to do with these Palestinian people. No one is saying, we'll govern. We're Muslims. They're Muslims. We'll govern. Let's get Hamas out of there and we'll step up and help. Nobody wants any part of that. And there's got to be a reason for that.
I think you're absolutely... I'm going to do it like this to go along with what you're saying. We certainly haven't heard of anybody trying to step forward, have we?
No, and when they were talking about the refugees, none of them would let the refugees go to
to their country. Yeah.
No, none of them. So there's got to be a reason there, and I don't know what it is. But
maybe they don't take showers.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know either. No, that's a great point. Why is it every time nobody seems to want to take them in?
No,
I got you.
They're lost people with nobody but. Then, like you said, do they vote them in? They're the only people who've come along and showed any interest in them. Maybe that's why they voted them in,
I would love to be feet on the ground and not have to worry about an Israeli bullet going over my head to try to get some of those answers.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well,
thanks for the call.
Day.
Happy holidays. 508-996-0500. Yeah, why, what's the, does anybody know what's the dirty thing? What is it that, Jordan took a lot of Palestinians, and I don't know if they regret it or not, but you've got that Gaza Strip that has Palestinians that the United Nations says is their land. Why is it nobody, or you know what, to go back to the previous caller, something that we did not bring up is the fact that maybe the other nations don't want to take the Palestinians because they want the Palestinians to have their own state. Let's face it, the people, maybe not the government, but the people of Jordan want the Palestinians to have their own state. The Lebanese from Lebanon, they want the Palestinians to have their own state. I don't know how the Syrians feel about it. I know the Egyptians, they don't want to take them in. Same reason. They don't, and here's the other part. When you start taking in the refugees, just like we do here in the United States, now all of a sudden, who's going to feed them? Who's going to house them? Who's going to put them to work? All that kind of stuff. These things definitely need to be considered. All right, let's hear from you. Hello.
What's up?
Just winging, just wanging.
I hear you. Hey, the Palestinians' biggest crime is being born in a land that secular Zionists crave. That's their biggest crime. And if you ask me, the reason why a lot of the lands don't want to take them in is because they don't want to be complicit in Palestine never being established. That's a big reason.
Try that again. I want to make sure I'm understanding.
If all these countries start taking these Palestinians in, they'll never be allowed. They'll never go back to Palestine, and there'll never be a Palestinian state. And these countries will be complicit in the complete elimination of the Palestinian homeland.
Yeah, I think that's part of what I stated earlier. I would agree with that. But I think the Palestinians want to stay. Maybe they don't view it quite the same way that Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, and many of the others, the Israelis, view that strip. But they know it's a cherished land. They were growing olives and all kinds of things in Gaza. They love their home.
Yeah, the Zionists don't want Palestine. They want the greater Israel. Israel, I think it took them like 2 or 3 days to violate that ceasefire. They're bombing Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, the West Bank. And
according to Haaretz, they killed 3 people today, 2 people today, 5 people, the IDF, 5 people yesterday. Some
bombing
ceasefire.
Schools, bombing Christian churches. And Mike Huckabee, the guy that met with Jonathan Pollard, he just established 1,000 pastors just went over to Israel to be indoctrinated, to come back here and indoctrinate their flock with fake Christian messaging. And they're planning to get
why do you call it fake Christian messaging?
Because they want you to worship Israel. And they tell you that what is there now is biblical Israel, which it is absolutely not. If you're a convert to Judaism, it doesn't make you of the tribe of Judah, which is where the word Jew came from. It was mistranslated from the Greek. It was actually called Judean. Now, if you brainwash people into a false religion, you can have all these Christians supporting.
But if these are pastors or reverends or whatever their proper title is, do you think that they're really going to be brainwashed into another religion?
No, not another religion, but a false messaging. They're like this Turning Point USA is going to be used that way. There's a big pastor in Turning Point USA that claims that if you don't support Israel, then you're not a Christian.
I thought Charlie Kirk was against that.
Who knows, man? They're being used. Whatever happened to him is now it's being used. This Turning Point USA is being used for some kind of ulterior motive.
So maybe that's why Erica Kirk is on this speaking binge.
She's kind of a creepy woman. I don't trust that woman as far as I can throw her. And did you see Mark Levin at the Hanukkah?
Yes.
Saying that Trump is the first Jewish president?
Yes.
Pretty epic times we're in, man. Pretty epic times that.
You're saying epic times. What is that a front for?
For the massive illusion that is going to be upon us.
I'm going to stop you for a second. You asked me if I heard. I watched it, not live, but videoed. YouTube. You know what caught my attention more than Levin making that comment?
Miriam Adelson?
No, not only that, but the applause that Levin got for making that announcement.
Yeah. Because they slaughtered the red heifers. I know this goes right over people's heads, but they're doing massive incursions into the Al-Aqsa Mosque because they want that torn down to build another temple. And these heifers, who knows if they were cloned, they had to be pure red heifers. And if they're sacrificed and burned, the people that wash their hands in their ashes can build the temple. We're in,
I don't know whether to believe that or not, but that is way over most people's. There is a particular point, and I got that's just a little over my top anyway. I do appreciate the call, and I'll give it a brief thought anyway. Hello.
Good afternoon, and Merry Christmas.
Same. How are you?
I've been listening to the conversation here, and I have to say, I don't think I have heard a more hate-filled anti-Semitic statement on this station in all the years I've been listening to it.
Which one, or which ones?
Your most previous caller. But I want to state, let's be very clear about a couple of facts here that certain people overlook. Since its creation, and Israel was created because of the Holocaust, which some people claim never happened. Ever since its creation, the Arab states surrounding it, until the Carter administration, refused to accept its existence, all right? And the Palestinian movement, right? Palestinian movement, which was the Palestine Liberation Organization, which was replaced by Hamas as their official governing body, vowed to eliminate all Jews from the Middle East. They said, if we become your representatives, it will be our goal to eliminate not just the state of Israel, but all Jews. Now, no offense to the previous caller, but on October 10th, Hamas, having spent 7 years in power and refusing to have another election after they won, used all of the international aid they got, all of the revenue generated by their own people on the territory that they were in charge of governing, used that money to build a network of tunnels that's beyond your imagination, recruit, arm, and train a military force, which then carried out an unprovoked attack, killing over 2,000 unarmed women, children, and civilians. And if you want to defend people like that, then we don't see the things the same way. As far as I'm concerned, the Palestine Liberation Organization and Hamas deserve to be destroyed, and they got what was coming to them after they attacked Israel in such a heinous fashion.
And where are you getting your 2,000 figure?
That's from most of the published reports, although they vary depending on how many people you want to claim died subsequently to their wounds and their injuries. But I don't think that the Hamas attack on October 10th of 23 was a sightseeing tour by some tourists interested in visiting the other side.
Fair enough. I would say October 7th would have been the date that has been widely given. No, that's all right.
But I don't want to quibble over numbers. Let's be clear about
but I think part of it, you say you don't want to quibble over numbers. There have been so many different numbers given out on the Israeli side, numbers given out on the Gazan side, that sometimes you have to try to ascertain who is trying to do their best to tell the truth.
Well, but the truth about the casualties is one thing. The truth of the matter is this was an unprovoked attack, and there should have been 0 casualties on that day. Should have been 0 civilians and unarmed people killed, but Hamas decided to attack an unarmed group of people on the other side of their territory, spent 7 years preparing to do so. This wasn't something over the weekend they decided to try it and see what would happen. This was a well-planned, well-financed, well-organized, well-armed, well-trained fighting force that went over to the Israeli side of the territorial boundary of Gaza. Sole purpose of killing people.
And no, that was not the sole purpose.
Well, no offense, pardon me, but if that was any one of their purposes, then I have no forgiveness.
Well, but let's let's take them at face value at what they said. Their purpose was, yes, they knew they were going to kill people, but they wanted to get hostages to have to negotiate the release of some of their people. They've come out and stated that they were trying for their own homeland. They weren't able to get any of that. I'm not trying to, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I'm not trying to condone what they did. This is what they have stated.
I understand that. But I think the fact of the matter is, whenever I hear people talk about a two-state solution, it says the first thing the Arabs have to do and Hamas has to do is admit to a one-state solution and recognize Israel's right to exist, and maybe they'll recognize yours.
I think that they certainly do. I think all parties need to recognize that folks have a right to exist, and they each need their homeland, whether it already is a one-state solution. So I guess we have to take it from what you just stated and, build from that one state into a two-state. However, what I'm looking at right now, if you don't mind answering this, the administration, I shouldn't say the administration, Witkoff and Jared Kushner have come up with a 20-year, $112 billion reconstruction plan of Gaza, and it doesn't look like they're consulting any of the Palestinians.
Well, I at this point in time, given what happened on October 7th, I don't trust the Palestinians one single bit. And the blood is on their hands, and they know it. And trying to make themselves out to be victims is absolutely preposterous. That's just silly.
Well, don't you think that they were victims leading into October 7th? That's what they're complaining about. That's
not one single bit when they vowed to destroy Israel and all Jews, and then they attacked them unarmed. What was that, to make a statement?
Are you trying to tell me that Israel's military was unarmed?
No, but Israel's military was not attacked.
Yes, they were, because they had to be attacked because their people were kidnapped. Their military people were kidnapped. Hold on a second. Their military was told to stand down, leading into the attack.
Look, now we're going to argue military tactics and what constitutes a national security issue or threat. I thought, it says at the end of the day, what is the justification for what Hamas did?
Their justification for what they did is that they're trying to get a homeland. They're tired of being surveilled by Israel and all of that stuff, the stuff that they've come out and stated. I'm not sitting here saying that they are totally right.
Hold on. They're being surveilled, and so I know of this large organized group that has political status in a territory that abuts mine, and these people get up every day and try to figure out how to kill me and people like me, and that's okay.
It looks, you know what, it looks like the other side is waking up almost every day and looking for ways to kill them. It seems to go back and forth.
Well, this is chicken and egg thing.
Well, it might be.
The fact of the matter is Israel was created after World War II, and the Arab world rejected them. They had two wars, and the Arabs lost both of them. All right, and at any point in time, Anwar Sadat, who was the first Arab leader and an abutter of Israel to recognize Israel, was assassinated because he did so.
Yeah,
now, that
and what about the Jewish leader? Israeli leader. I don't want to mix the two. Of the Israeli leader that was killed for trying to keep the peace.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
I'm not saying they do, but what you're bringing up one, I'm bringing up the other. I think if people could take our conversation today, which seems to be going fairly well, and sit down at the table with both sides, maybe we could get this damn thing worked out.
The Arabs, by the Hamas, acted on October 7th and showed me and showed the world they have no intention of a peaceful solution. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see. I mean, certainly if the thought process is going to be that strong, then chances are it won't be. But when I hear stories about mowing the grass or mowing the lawn, the things that happen to the Palestinians at the hands of the IDF or the Israelis, you know, I think that there's always a breaking point. We talk about that here in the United States. We came to a breaking point in the 1770s against the British. I think there are breaking points between the Northern Ireland Protestants and the Irish Catholic from Ireland. But after a while, people try to figure it out, and they do figure it out. So maybe somehow, some way, instead of saying, well, these guys are never going to change, because quite frankly, I heard the same thing about the Irish, and they seem to have changed. All right, let's hear from you, 508-996-0500. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Brian.
Good afternoon.
This is what Christ says on the subject matter, what you're talking about. It says, pertaining to the rabbis, and they love the uppermost rooms at feast and the chief seats in the synagogues and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all you are brethren. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. But he that is the greatest among you shall be your servant. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that humble himself shall be exalted. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore you shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves.
So, in saying all of this, are the Palestinians or are the Israelis on the right side? Which one's on the right side?
They're both on the wrong side. They're killing each other. The ones that are blessed, that willingly lay their life down for their brethren, like Christ did, that they deny themselves and pick up their cross and lose their life. That's the real church that Christ is building. If you look at Matthew 23 and compare it with Acts 6 and 7, you can get insight into what I'm talking about. I'm a Jewish man, and Christ is my master, and to be sacrificed for the brethren, the furtherance of the faith of the brethren, would be a joy for me. I would be so happy to do so willingly. My life is not dear to me, just like the apostles wasn't dear to them. That's true Israel. If you look in Galatians chapter 6, that's the Israel of God, those of the promise, not those over there.
Fair enough. As far as the United States spending $22 billion to help fix up Gaza, good idea, bad idea?
Oh, absolutely. Terrible. The government of America is the same thing. They're helping over there. And not only America, all the governments of the world, Russia, all over. That's not the government of God. They're not doing the will of God. They're doing the will of Satan. They're all deceived in Revelation chapter 12. Take a look. Those that overcome by the blood of the Lamb, that willingly lay their life down, that those are the ones that are blessed.
All right. So what would you say to Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, the president of the United States? get rid of this plan that you put together, or because I don't think they want to. I think that they believe that they are emboldened to move forward and spend our tax dollars and to make Gaza in their light.
Well, that's what they have been appointed to. This has all been predestinated from eternity past. All this, God raised up Trump just like he raised up Pharaoh. The same thing with Putin and the man that's in charge over in China there. All those
the man they call Xi.
Yeah, Xi, that's it. All those, if you look in Revelation 13, those are the leaders of those countries, that the most powerful countries. But they don't bow a knee to, but every knee will bow to Christ. But they don't bow a knee. Now,
well, yeah, and I think that if you're talking, thank you very much for your call. If you're talking about the Asian countries, in particular China, I don't think that they look at Jesus the same way that Christian nations look at Jesus. I do appreciate your call and your comments, and I can't help but laugh at the man they call Xi.
If we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
This is WBSM.
Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas from your Kmart Christmas store.
Here's what's happening this week on Town Square Sunday. As the year wraps up, Jack Spillane from the New Bedford Light will offer some thoughts on New Bedford city government and reflect on some of the major news stories of the year. And Stan Levine and Maria Connor will be inviting everyone to a free Christmas dinner. They're carrying on a tradition that began more than 50 years ago. I'm Jim Phillips. Join me for Town Square Sunday, Sunday morning at 6 and 11 on 1420 WBSM and 99.5 FM.
Traveling for business or pleasure? Instead of booking online, first call Low Cost Air at 800-221-6085. Let a real person compare prices and schedules before AI takes over. With Low Cost Air, booking is your option, which means there's no obligation to purchase anything at all. Call Low Cost Air to compare. 800-221-6085. Low Cost Air, 800-221-6085.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
There's no better fool than the Freedom Fools. Now, back to Brian.
I'm 28 years old. My generation already expects that we'll never be able to afford a home, to get out of debt, to retire, to live comfortably. And no, it's not because we've lived beyond our means, but it's because we've been denied the means to live.
I like that line. Before I pick up the phone, I do want to go back over I think it wasn't the last caller, the caller before the last caller. He had mentioned anti-Semitic talk going on. He didn't point the finger at me, which is different because I've certainly had that finger pointed at me. But if I could ask you, because sometimes you can sit here and say, well, no, that's not anti-Semitic, but indeed it may be. But I think in saying that, the yardstick for what is considered anti-Semitic has changed so much over the past few years that you can't criticize Israel, the nation of Israel, not necessarily its people or the Jewish people that live in Israel. You can be called anti-Semitic for criticizing the nation of Israel. And I think here in the United States, there is that expectation of a freedom of speech to criticize another nation, in particular when you're talking about using my tax dollars to help fund the bombing of another nation by said nation that you're criticizing. 508-996-0500. Hello.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Brian.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners. Now, there was a man that called and accused you and a previous caller of being anti-Semitic. That's the same man that calls Fall River and he thinks he knows it all. The only person that knows it all is Almighty God. And the whole thing with Israel is, if we look at the history of Israel, Israel is not a landmass. Israel is a people, and it's in the Old Testament. My people, Israel. My bride, Israel, which is the 12 tribes of Israel.
So to understand you're saying that, because I'm not a scholar of the Bible or anything like that, but what I'm understanding you to say is Israel is a people, not necessarily a landmass.
That's what the Bible tells us. The word Palestine comes from the Romans when they occupied Rome. That landmass that today was considered Judea, not Palestine. So there's no such thing as a Palestinian people, an Israeli country. It's a people, and we know in the Bible that the people were scattered to the different countries. So this is not part of this is secular Israel that exists today. So that man is accusing other people of being anti-Semitic, and he's wrong and misguided. Let me just say that. The other thing is, we can't pay our bills here in the United States of America. We owe $38 trillion. I've heard even more than that. We can't even pay our interest. We can't even give the retirees like myself and many others, an income. What do we get? 2% increase, but yeah, we're going to spend $21.3 billion.
22.4.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had a woman call and said, well, the military's going to go in there, they're going to clean the rubble and all of that. Well, that's part of it. But you got Halliburton and many other companies that go in and they build homes and all that other stuff. I mean, they don't only just...
that's a great point. And it's similar to what we hear about a few other things. But if these companies believe this is a great investment, why do they need my tax dollars to fortify that investment so they can make even more money?
So we can pay more taxes. I mean, you got Jose Matos. That's his job to tell you know. You go to him. All the different forms you got to fill out. Now the taxes. Guess who's going to pay? We should care about this because we're going to pay for it. We're going to pay $21.3 billion. I mean, look at an example. We have here in the city of New Bedford. Everybody's upset about the sewage processing plant. Although it's connected into a Acushnet, Fairhaven, and Dartmouth. Right, and we got all these illegal, 25,000 illegal or more that's crapping into the system, right? And it's trying to say it's over capacity, and we need money from the federal government, but yet we got money to spend to the Gaza Strip. It doesn't make any sense. We're going to pay more taxes. We can't even pay our own bills. We can't pay the interest in our bills. This is ridiculous. We're being ripped off and lied to.
Well, I get that, but the other side of the coin is we helped to destroy the Gaza Strip by supplying Israel with the weaponry that they used to bomb the area.
And who gave the Palestinian the weapons to use against the supposedly the Israelis, but Israelis is a people, not a landmass.
Well, it wasn't the United States. Look,
but I'm saying, who gave the arms?
Well, we can say
Who gave
Hezbollah. We
the
can
arms
say
to the-
Hezbollah and Iran. Look, I'm not against them
saying, where
helping
they
to
get it
pay
from? They
for
get
it.
it from China. They get it from Russia.
Either way,
Russia's involved in it too.
Okay.
Think about it.
Here's what I'm thinking about, and it does kind of jive with what you're saying, is that there are other countries that are involved here that also need to pony up the money. We shouldn't be ponying up 1/5 of this money, especially when we know, we have a good reason to believe that many American companies are really going to profit off of this. I have no problem with companies profiting, but you shouldn't need our tax dollars in order to do it.
Well, and especially Donald Trump's son-in-law.
Yeah.
He's going to profit too from it.
Yep.
That's just all about money. I'm going to bring this to why we're going to celebrate Christmas. It's about the birth of Jesus and the three wise men, right? They followed the North Star to get to Jesus, and he was given three gifts. The first was gold because of his kingship, and the second is frankincense because he's a high priest, and then myrrh, which was the oil that was needed in the burial of royalty. So they want us to tell these political leaders who are corrupt, who want to make money and enslave all of mankind. They're telling you that Israel is a landmass. It's not. It's a people, and the Jewish people are all over the world. All over the world. It's not one landmass, but Israel.
But is there any problem with them having a homeland?
Well, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but it's about a few handful of people who want to get rich, and they want to use other people, and they create wars, and then they all the destruction, killing innocent people on both sides that want nothing to do with war, and then we're going to pay for it with taxpayer dollars in the name of the American people. It's irresponsible.
Gotcha. Thank you. I do appreciate the call. How do you argue that? I do believe, because we were complicit, we knew what was going on. We've heard from Matt Miller, who used to be the State Department spokesperson, I believe, under the Biden administration. They knew what was going on prior to Trump coming in. They knew that there was a war crime going on, and basically they just let it go. Matt Miller's own words. It's interesting, he comes out after the fact, but it is about making money. Matt Miller was making good coin as a State Department spokesperson. Now he's working for one of the largest PR firms in Washington, D.C. It pays to be an ass sometimes. But here we are, as the previous caller stated, $38, $39, $40 trillion in debt. And we have Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner coming up with plans that basically say, hey, look, the United States will commit to funding 20% of the cost of fixing up the Gaza under this Project Sunrise. And that comes out to more than $22 billion. Okay, more than $22 billion, or more than $1 billion a year over a 20-year period. First of all, projects like this are going to take longer than 20 years. You know it, and I know it. All you have to do is think back to the Big Dig. And that price tag today, which is $112.1 billion, what do you think it's going to be in 10 years? And still incomplete. My guess is in 10 years, it will have already reached $112 billion. And so would I be wrong to guess over $200 billion by the time all is said and done with these numbers right now? the Palestinians, whomever might be considered a leader. Maybe, maybe that's where things should start. Let's figure out who can be the next leader or leaders of that Gaza territory. And that way you can consult with them about the plan instead of, well, here's the plan. This is what we think will work. Let's talk to the folks in Turkey. Oh, they like it. Let's talk to the folks in Qatar. Oh, they seem to like it. Let's talk to the folks in Egypt. Yeah, they're cool with the plan. So if you don't talk to the Palestinians, let me be clear. If you don't talk to the Gazans, isn't there the possibility, isn't there just a possibility that there could be another type of October 7th, maybe not as elaborate, maybe even more elaborate, because those folks feel like they're being left out or chopped out or forced out? Last caller tonight. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Brian?
I am. How are you?
Hey, I'm wondering, I've been in and out, so I've been catching tidbits here and there, but have you seen that video of someone walking through the halls of Congress, and they're asking the congressmen and women, America first or Israel first, and not one single person answered?
No, I haven't. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, check that out. I mean, it kind of explains everything you need to know. Like,
so is it a reporter or just a normal person?
Like independent reporter going down the halls of Congress and just asking the simple question, hey, America first or Israel first? And not one of them answered.
I bet nobody talked to Thomas Massey. I bet nobody talked to the woman that's leaving, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Correct. But again, why is she leaving? And even with Bongino, with him stepping down, it's kind of like, I think, everybody has pure intentions or good intentions, and then they get in there and they just quickly realize, you're a part of the machine at the end of the day.
Yep. No doubt about that.
You got it. So,
all right.
Yeah, take a look.
I will. Thanks for the call. I do appreciate it. Got to wrap things up here. Let's see. We will be on for Brian's Beat on Monday and Tuesday, and then back with Freedom Fools the following Saturday.
That success and failure are not different paths. Success and failure are on the same path. The only way that you will succeed is to literally fail every single day.
WBSM.
Santa's bag is full of great gifts this Christmas from Norelco. He's got triple headers, the shavers, the blades.
Traveling for business or pleasure? Instead of booking online, first call Low Cost Air. Let a real person compare prices and schedules. With Low Cost Air, booking is your option, which means there's no obligation to purchase anything at all. Call Low Cost Air to compare. 800-221-6085. Low Cost Air, 800-221-6085. Low Cost Air is proud to sponsor Brian's Beat on the radio and online.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore.
You've got this.
A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging. Funded by the U.S. Administration for Community Living through a grant to U.S. Aging. Learn more at yougotthis.usaging.org.
Every year, more than 240,000 Hispanics attempt to end their own lives in the United States. In 2020 alone, more than 4,500 Hispanic men and women died by suicide in this country, according to the CDC. Among Latino youth, 1 in 6 high school students had serious thoughts of suicide. But it's not all bad news. Our culture, rich in family and community connections, can help prevent suicide. The CDC recommends some relief measures, such as reducing access to lethal means among people at risk for suicide and engaging them in shared activities. The good news is that there is help at your fingertips. If you or someone you know needs help now, call or text 988.
Find free available resources at wearelatinx.com. This message brought to you by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay.
Smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Freedom Pools on WBSM. Here's more with Brian Thomas.
Santa Claus goes straight to the ghetto. Hitch up your reindeer, go straight to the ghetto. Santa Claus, go straight to the ghetto. Fill every stocking you find. The kids are gonna love you so.
Back up! Yeah, back up! That's right! That's right! Back up! Back up! You guys are naughty!
Sounds of the Summer. Remember that? That was San Diego. I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, if you indeed celebrate. As I mentioned earlier, our programming is going to be cut because of the holiday. Monday and Tuesday, Brian's Beat at 6 p.m. Adios.
Traveling around from town to town. Sometimes I think I'll settle down. But I know I'd hunger to be free. Roving's the only life for me. A-drifting